I'm therefore going to pass to Walter Sorrentino, who will be our last speaker. Now, he again is a person whose stature is probably greater than is indicated by the brevity of the introduction I've been given. He is Vice President and former International Relations Secretary of the Communist Party of Brazil. I believe he's going to speak in Portuguese, and I believe that Julio Luquezzi Moraes will be translating. In that case, if you don't wish to follow him in Portuguese, you should go to the interpretation button at the bottom of your this Zoom screen that you see, and click on that and choose the English translation. So, Walter, we are very happy to welcome you.
Thanks for this. To all the Brazilians that already mentioned, I think that we live in Brazil one of the most critical moments of national history. Our country is completely astray without in the government that is fascist, without any compromise to civil rights and the national interest in itself. This is a government that puts into risk every single aspect of our nation and even the constitutional order that it is existing. So what we could say that Brazil lives a crossroad, an historical crossroads, entry to affirm itself as an international sovereign, or to die away to the imperialistic dependencies, to worsen the huge inequalities of the part, and consequently democracy will be hit. So the election, the next, has a sense, a transcendent sense, that is not just only change of powers or a re-election. The biggest is to unify all the major part of the population against Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is one of the major leaders of the far right in the world. So it would be a way to put an end to this coup strategy. The bigger sense for this historical election is open ways to restart the national construction that was interrupted. Brazil is one of the big countries of the world, a nation that had during the 20th century the biggest GDP growth in the world, a high change since 1930s, which of course took place due to conservative forces that maintained, however, the structural and deep contradictions of the Brazilian social economic formations, above all the social inequality and dependency. So what is at stake here, there will be new challenges ahead. We have a vertex, which is the development of sovereign national development, with the overcoming of challenges, strengthening of democracy, and the challenge to overcome economic dependence. And I believe that only popular forces can lead this process. So what happens today is in a context completely new. So be it in the country, be in the world, which the world lives in a senility crisis of neoliberalism in a new international conjuncture. It has already been cited here. I quote once again: we have an international, very risky international situation, but that opens big opportunities, because the emergent multipolarity gives a whole lot of maneuver for countries like Brazil, one of the 5 biggest in the world in terms of GDP, population, and territory, as long as Brazil is aware of what it is and what it wants. If we do know, it will be possible to explore these contradictions and the gaps, the cracks of international multilaterations, having as a leverage, as it has already been said, the Latin American unity with Mercosur and partnerships with partners like European Union, BRICS. We should have relations with China. Now, we have lots of elements to position ourselves in the world, and we have a big tradition of international policy that is affirmative of national interests. So in this context, the Lula's victory would be a way to return to institutional normalcy, stability of institutions, to put back the Brazilian place in a group of respect, and above all, as you know, as we are again, it's a basic leftist. Just put the people back as the main character, right? So I agree with whoever said that this government, de Lula, by winning the elections, it would have significance of a transition. So it would open ways to safeguard democracy and return sovereign development. The vertex for this is a new project, a new developmental national project. This is the challenge we should have in Brazil, a new project, a new national project of sovereign development, democratic, based on the material and spiritual progress of Brazil. Of course, the protagonism of the state as reformed should take into structural democratic reforms under the current conditions, as it shows the international reality. And what talking about the elections, Lula has today the biggest group of support. We have constructed a strategy that departed basically to not underestimate Bolsonaro. We count with reserves, direct and indirect reserves, of a very large force of democratic forces, several allyships. We have the electoral process in course. Lula is the leader of this, which of course touches hegemonic economic sectors. Lula has never think that this will be easy. It won't be easy. If we win, and we will win, we will face a very challenged reality in all aspects of the life. The constitution has been shattered. Parliament, whose majority is conservative, inflation, and a budget crisis, which was, of course, an assault, a crime on that have been internationalized. The state has been depleted. So it is important to essentially, in this transition, to build a new majority political around a new pact on development. This is the position that we need to do for an ampler future. Lula's program has as a fundament mainly heal, generate employ and income until to preserve national interest, reindustrialize the country, advance science and technology in the industry, transform environment in an active in an asset on things like clean energy, the protection of energy of clean energy. All of those things turned into a national project, strongly supported on the support and the right of direct, especially education, health, that have been so attacked by the Bolsonaro government. I think that the great loss of Bolsonaro, for the first time, a president will not be reelected. Uh, it basically means how he dealt with epidemics without compassion, actually promoting an attitude that's genocidal, of not protecting its population. This is something that will reflect when people will make a decision of his actions. So I end up here saying once more that Brazil needs, can, and may make a new developmental project to safeguard and strengthen national sovereignty, where the role of the state is decisive to induct and direct development. Lula's victory inscribes itself in a trajectory of reaccumulation of political and intellectual forces and popular forces. We have hope. Hope will win fear. and we count with all the solidarity, international solidarity, during and after the elections. Thank you so much.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.